Well, welcome gentlemen, and really looking forward to this table 6 to have some interesting conversations about some of the challenges and some of the opportunities with IT in the future. So we're going to kick off with discussion about infrastructure, and infrastructure is one of those things that, whenever certainly, when I'm talking to potential clients in other parts of the world or other parts of the UK, people always sort of say, "Oh, Cornwall, isn't that a bit challenging?" And and obviously, we've got an airport that's as busy as it ever has been. There's a certain number of flights a day. We are 4.5 hours on the train for London. We're about 4 to 5 hours drive from London as well. So geographically, Cornwall has its challenges. That's potentially advantages in some ways, but I always say to people, we're only 5 milliseconds from London, which is due to a majority of Cornwall having access to some form of fibre-enabled broadband. Then we do have that opportunity. And has anybody got any initial thoughts on where those potential opportunities are?
We need to grasp the opportunity that 5 milliseconds and vast bandwidth offers us by implementing systems that take advantage of it. I think probably we've got tons and tons of connectivity, but our business is really making the most of it.
And it's not only the local businesses making the most of it technically, it is about spreading a message too, because as we were saying, there is a perception we're miles from anywhere, and we need to be the people that dispel that perception. It's not for the people up country to work it out for themselves, really.
Yeah, I find it's quite interesting. I had a meeting with the IT director of a very, very large retailer, UK-based retailer, who I won't say who it is, but they, and he said, "Oh, how on earth do you manage to cope in Cornwall?" And I said, "Well, I've got 330 meg internet in the office and at home actually." So, and he lived in the home counties and was just completely shocked.
Like that.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And whilst not everywhere in Cornwall gets that, the myth of Cornwall must be behind the times, when actually we've got, on the whole, far better connectivity than most other parts of the UK.
Right, hello gentlemen. Today we've got a beautiful Volscombe and pistachio nut parfait. Okay, we serve that with some heritage beetroot in different formats. I've done pickled, I've done a gel, and a little bit of raw as well, and some croûtes just to spread it on as well. Okay, enjoy.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Let me introduce your wine. This one is Sauvignon Blanc from Chile. The winemaker is Las Condes. It's a dry white wine. It's fresh. You can find a bouquet of white family fruit, lemon iced tea. It's fresh and easy to drink. You want to try, sir? There we go, sir.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. Well, so we've talked a little bit about infrastructure. Next topic I'd like to bring up is security. And what I've observed over the years is, I've seen businesses that, have managed to restore lost files within minutes. And then I came across a business the other few weeks ago that had no email for an entire week. And there seems to be a real extreme there of how businesses choose to go about dealing with security. And then obviously recently we've had the NHS seriously affected with the WannaCry ransomware. And security is not just ransomware or malware. There's phishing, there's social engineering, and then the whole issue of business continuity, backup plans. So what do you think are the key issues at the moment?
I think the critical issues, you mentioned WannaCry, which affected the NHS 4 or 5 weeks ago. Now, that was an attack not aimed at the NHS. The NHS were victims of that attack, as were many businesses around the world. And then only this week we've seen another attack which began in the Ukraine and spread globally, although ultimately hasn't been quite as far-reaching as WannaCry was. These are well-publicised events. These are threats that get a lot of global attention in the press and the media, but I'm not entirely sure that businesses throughout the UK actually, but particularly perhaps in this part of the world, equate the risk that they see on the television as having an effect potentially on their own business, because after all, a lot of the cyber threats, a lot of the cyber criminals are looking for the low-hanging fruit for a number of reasons, and SMEs are typically low-hanging fruit, and they can make a lot of money from the low-hanging fruit. So drawing the parallel and looking at what's happening and saying, actually, I need to take action because this could affect my own business, is what I think is a critical issue.
The steps, we're all tech-savvy people. What are the steps that an SME MD should be taking to implement that sort of strategy?
Recognise that there is a potential issue, number one. Number two, I think they need to look at how their business operates in terms of IT security, cyber security. A number of ways of doing that, but undertaking some kind of security audit, either internally or with outside help, looking at where their weaknesses and vulnerabilities might lie. Then, of course, there are technological solutions to a lot of the threats, but a large part of it is also the staff that work within the business. The staff often are the last thing that are thought of. Money is spent on technological solutions without actually bothering to train the staff and help them be aware of how to spot the threats, because quite often they will save a business without them realising they're saving the business. The industry currently has a phrase I really dislike, which is that we should create the human firewall. I don't like the phrase, but in actual fact the sentiment is entirely correct. By training staff, by making staff aware of the risks, not just about cyber security, about how valuable the data is to their business. Do staff really understand that they're working with gold dust quite often with the data, and if that data is no longer there, the business will suffer. So helping the staff understand all of these issues will in fact add a very important layer of protection to the business.
So, next course we've got a beautiful rose veal, cooked medium rare. We served it with a truffle ravioli, little sherry foam, herb oil, and a little red wine reduction. Okay, enjoy.
Hello again, this one is Shiraz, it's for Carmener, it's Chilean wine, it's a red ruby color wine, developing some flavor of blackberries and cherry notes, followed by some touch of vanilla notes. Have a try, sir?
That's lovely. So we've talked about infrastructure and we've talked about security. One of the other big game changers in computing and IT is obviously the cloud, and there's all sorts in hosted solutions. So we talked a little bit about how quite a lot of the time companies used to have a sort of server in the corner of their office, but now actually there's some potential advantages of actually having it hosted somewhere else, and now we're seeing from our perspective, we're building all sorts of cloud software solutions for lots of companies in different parts of the world. And obviously, we moved our phone systems across to a VoIP system, yes. Courtesy of yourself, actually, Mike. Yes. But which actually, in the first year, it actually saved us money. And that included all the capital hardware costs, and in the years since, it's slashed our previous ISDN costs, base phone system costs, by we're paying less than a third of what we were.
Saving money is one thing, and VoIP certainly can give you the opportunity to do that, especially if you've got ISDN-based systems as you had. But more importantly for Cornwall, I think that the facilities that you get when you buy an ISDN-based phone system, you buy a little box that sits in the corner and it does a limited amount of things. By going for a cloud-based service, you've all of a sudden got a system that is of a corporate level. So it allows little Cornish businesses to punch above our weight and present an image to the outside world that's very different from the hi, it's leave your message after the tone from BT's answer phone service. It's a big step up.
And that's the thing. That's what we really noticed is that it wasn't. I mean, the cost saving is obviously great, but it's the added value and the things that we were able to do, and then we just sort of add another phone in, and it costs us a fraction of what we used to spend, and it just seems like a really, it's such a good thing for businesses to do. So Tim, what are the other sort of cloud offerings that people should be made aware of?
Well, you mentioned just now about the box in the corner, the server, and to be fair, there are still occasions where an on-premise server is the right solution, but more and more businesses are moving to hosted solutions. A lot of these cloud solutions are very scalable, so depending on how your business moves, changes, and particularly grows, you're not suddenly having to throw equipment away, you're just adding a little bit more storage, a few more licenses to the arrangement you already have. So hosted services are becoming very, very creditable, very appealing to businesses.
Okay, last course, we've got a trip down memory lane for me, an ice cream sandwich. Okay, I've served it with a red gooseberry compote, some popping candy and homemade lemon sherbet. Okay, so enjoy.
So gentlemen, have you got sort of one tip to share that sort of encapsulates what we've been talking about today?
Well, clearly from my perspective, I guess, what I would urge any business in Cornwall in the southwest is to make certain that they take account of cybersecurity and the cyber threats. It's becoming so prominent now, there are so many different threats that this can seriously take your business out of play. So for me, it's really think hard about how well protected you are so that you can move forward, knowing that your business will not come to any major harm.
Sound advice. Mike?
Bring that gap from here to the rest of the country down as much as you can by utilising the fantastic broadband that we have here and putting applications through that broadband that make your life less difficult in terms of travelling. Use video, it's there, you can use free services, it's there to be used now, and please look at your phone systems and see whether or not there is some money to be saved and some punches to be delivered above your weight here in Cornwall.
I really like that sort of opportunity, and certainly with technology, something that I've been really following actually within our own business, and also therefore because we obviously work with lots of other businesses, partnering with them. We have a sort of philosophy of really trying to be, punching above our weight, and all it is really, it just comes down to reading and researching what is the next thing that's happening, not just adopting everything just because it's new, but actually working out where is the opportunity to use technology to help position your business through your systems ahead of everywhere else in the world. And there's an opportunity for a business to raise their aspiration level to actually be far better than other businesses in any other part of the world. Forget about London and the rest of the UK. Actually, we can actually have world-class businesses here.
Yeah, and in a great environment. What could be better?
Brilliant. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. That's been a really great lunch, and we've
very much.
Yeah, so some great food. Had some really interesting, great wine actually. Really enjoyed that, and thanks very much to the Penventon for hosting us, and another great table 6. Thank you. See you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.